Welcome to Disscomfort's channel. We're gonna play some awesome games. Oh yeah!
Hello, party people. We're back after a lengthy hiatus. Decided I'm gonna play some Miasmata, and this seemed like a good game to, create videos of alongside my playing. You can see I did play a little bit last couple days just to get used to how the game works. But I'm gonna start a fresh game. I'll explain how the game works, what is interesting about this game as we progress. But for now, let's just get started. In a different place and time. Your name is Robert Hughes. You awake on the shores of a mysterious island. You have come to this island an exiled man, a traitor, and betrayed. You are suffering from a plague, a disease from which you will soon die. You soon will die. This island is home to a research outpost, a conclave of enlightened men searching for a cure. Discover the cure and survive. So that's about as much story as they start you off with. So, hope my frame rate holds up. Yeah, we're getting like 60 frames. This is all good. For now, at least. It's a little bit hitchy game from time to time. But I'm running a 720, so it should work out okay. Anyways, the interesting thing about this game, so it's like a, what are people calling it? Survival adventure? So you're this dude stranded on this island, looking for a cure to your disease, and turns out there's like monsters, or a monster, trying to get you, but you don't really find out about that for a little while. So I guess the comparisons that are sort of obvious are, it has some of the exploration of something like Dear Esther, which I'm a big fan of, or if you're more old school, something like Myst, even though Myst was more puzzle solving, but there's some of that stuff in here, but not of that ilk precisely. But it's more like you're just stuck on this island, you gotta look for stuff, and you sort of get objectives that lead you down a linear path, but like you can sort of go wherever. Anyways, you'll figure it out. Let's get through the tutorial. So I pick up this note. It says your journal provides you with useful information. And I got this bloody memo about the cure. So this is the cure for my disease. So test has been successful. We have a cure. Begin immediate synthesis of tricordrazine by combining the following agents. So this is sort of the main goal of the story, I guess. I haven't gotten super far in this. But there's like a crafting / alchemy system in this game. And you gotta create these agents out of plants and stuff in the world to synthesize the cure. And so the cure is how you're gonna beat the game, I presume. So I'm sort of stuck on this island alone. Everybody else seems to have died. Some have gotten stabbed. I don't know what happened to everyone else. So let's see. I'm gonna go over here. So this is gonna be the first laboratory. Also, the movement. Maybe you guys don't get a good feel for this because you're not pressing all the buttons. But there's a real heft to your character, which hopefully is coming across in my quick movements here. And you'll see how that will come back to bite me over time, because navigating the world is much more difficult and, I guess, realistic than in most games, but I'll show you that later. You're being watched. This is about as much of a hint you get early on if there's a monster after you. And I can come over here, and this will save my game. It's turning on lanterns and candles. And this is the laboratory. So this is where, well, it's not the laboratory, it's a laboratory, where your synthesis and stuff is going to take place. So let's go out here. There's some flowers. And it seems like most, probably all, of the ingredients that you'll come across are flowers. and it'll tell you you discovered a pretty flower. Oh, and I always press the wrong button to get out of this. Then I think over here are some purple flowers, and you'll see what those do in a moment. I don't slashing at the flowers. Discovered a purple. Oh, I always press the wrong button. So yeah, you're gonna see me zoom into a lot of pages in my journal accidentally because I always press the wrong button to get out of the journals. So, first things first, because I'm sick, I need to stay hydrated. So I'm going to pour out some water, have a nice sip, and then put some in my canteen, which will give me 5 extra servings for later. So there's a bunch of stuff you can do in these laboratories. So there's a storage bin, so I can place flowers over here and come back for them later. And this is universal, so if I come to another laboratory later, those will be there if I leave them in the storage bin. So next thing, when you find a new flower, you want to bring it to the examination tray, and you will do a little examining. Put it under the microscope. And I'm just going to skip the animation because it takes a while. So then you get this nifty little research entry that I have tested active oils from the flowers, and then it'll say you can make an extra strength medicine with by combining purple flowers. Then I'll put the pink flowers in. Skip the animation because it's horrible. And this will say I can make a basic medicine. So this is about as far as I've gotten with the crafting in this game. But I can set... Let's do this. So if I put the pink flower in and then synthesize, I'll get a basic medicine, which will help fight fevers and bring back my health. And if I put a purple flower in with it in the second tray, then that acts as like a catalyst or whatever and gives me an extra strength potion. And I missed the button prompt. So another lengthy animation, and out pops an extra strength medicine. And it'll tell you every time what you made. So I can grab that. And then that just sits here in my journal. My canteen's down here. And so I got my extra strength medicine if I ever need it. So that's the basics of crafting. I might as well just save my game real quick again. So that was the tutorializing as far as basic crafting goes. And I'm going to bounce out here. I'm going to grab some flowers again just for my the next time I come across this stuff. My mouse is a little bit too sensitive. I always spin around and lose track of where I am. So let's grab some flowers again. Keep on moving. Also, you can drink water out of freshwater sources. There is also saltwater sources that you want to avoid. But we'll come to that some other time. So that's still not the most interesting thing about this game. And I'll show you the more interesting part, I think, in this next set of cabins. So let's see what's in here. Save by doing this stuff. I'm gonna grab an apple. There's an achievement related to these apples, I think, which I will demonstrate later. Can't demonstrate it right now, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So you occasionally will pick up these maps, and the map says, hey, here's the laboratory where we're at a little while ago. I guess this is the cabin we're in now. There's another cabin just past us. And it'll say you want to follow this path up. And here's a statue for reference. So that gets added to my primary map. And so this is the map that you fill out over the course of the game that shows you where you've been. And you get a compass, which is very useful. The catch is the map does not behave like maps in most games. There is a semi-realistic cartography system in this game, which I think is the most interesting part of the entire experience. And I will demonstrate that in a moment. But most of the time, this cursor that shows you where you are and where you're pointing will not be on the map. And you have to figure it out for yourself using orienteering skills in order to figure out where you are on the map. And I will show you that in a moment. Let's go ahead and pop that. I already got water. And let's move on to the next cabin. There's squirrels and stuff out in the world. I haven't been able to do anything with them. I could probably throw this apple at it, but I don't really care that much. Let's keep on moving. More water. More candles. So, I could go ahead and pick these up, but I'm gonna save the effort. This is the tutorial explaining how the cartography system works, but I will just come out here and show you. It's awful dark. I wish the sun was out better. So, the idea behind the cartography is, let's say I'm standing in this position. And this is why I needed to play the game ahead of time to get a grasp on how this stuff works. So you can see that my little cursor is gone, so it doesn't really say where I am on the map anymore. I'm roughly here, but we'll show you how to figure that out as we go. So in the world, and on the map, you'll see there are landmarks. So there's the statue that we saw on the mini-map, and now it's popped up here. And you can see there's cabin and other stuff that is visible on our map that we picked up from before. So there are landmarks on the map, there are landmarks in the world. And so I can go over here, and that triangle means that I know what that statue is. And so I can click on the statue, and it'll say, okay, you're facing just off of north. And so it draws the line from the statue on the map that we clicked. There's the cabin. We can do the same thing with the cabin, and where those two lines intersect is where you are standing. And so that's how basic orienteering works, is you gotta use your compass and landmarks in the world to figure out where you are on the map and where you're facing. But as soon as I move from this location, I'm not going to know where I am again. So you have to constantly, to avoid getting lost, you got to check where your location on the map, and you got to always be referencing landmarks, and you have to discover new landmarks. So let's see, can I see? So over there, if you can see behind those trees, is another statue similar to this one, but it's got a question mark on it because I don't know where that is. It's not on my map. So if I do this again to locate myself on the map, so now I know where I am on the map. I'm at that location. Now I can get a plus sign on that statue in the distance, and I will draw a line based on the direction my compass is pointing, and it'll say somewhere on that line is that monument. The statue is somewhere on that line. So if I repeat this process at a different location using the same statue, where the lines cross will be where the statue is. And so that's another key part of the cartography system in this game, is locating new landmarks and using those landmarks to keep yourself situated on where you're at. So that's how the game works for the most part, and we're just gonna go off on our little adventure, try to find some good stuff, and we'll see what happens. So we're gonna walk on this way. Oh, I've already gotten lost. I mean, I know where I am, generally speaking, but the statue is behind a tree. So that's the interesting thing about this game, is because you rely so heavily on sort of landmarks in the world rather than the map telling you where you are, it's really easy to get lost. And that's sort of the great thing about this game, is the world is very believable and realistic. So you really rely on your skills as, you know, an orienteer, orient person, a mapping person, to figure out where you're at. So I'm gonna try again to check that landmark in the distance, but I might not be at a different enough angle, because you kind of need to get a different angle so you can accurately gauge. Yeah, it's not even gonna let me check that again, because if I was more to the left or right, I would have a different angle, and that's how you would check the check where that landmark is. But I'm not quite there yet. Now it's raining. This is a very dark game just visually, so if it's always raining, you're not going to be able to see much. At nighttime you can't see much because there is a day-night cycle. So right now it's about going on 2 p.m. But let's open up this island photograph. So here's a caption on the back of the photo. Reads, Pendergraft, directing the construction of Outpost Sirius. So I guess these were the scientists who lived on the island before. And here's Professor Douglas instructing Dr. Sanchez. So I don't really have any idea who these people are yet, but maybe that'll tie into a bigger story that we'll figure out over time. Also, there's sort of a glitch where sometimes you can't quite move after you access the map. I'll try to avoid that in the future. Come over here, there's another map. And this... So now we're here. This was the trail that was on the other map. We now want to follow this trail out to the camp. So like I said, there's sort of a linear progression, I guess, of where the story leads you. But you can, you know, because it's an exploration-based game, you can sort of go wherever you want. You just need to hit the... I do this again where my mouse won't move. So yeah, like if you exit out of the map before it zooms back out, sometimes the mouse doesn't move right. But let's keep it going. So here's another landmark. So if I check my map, I'm not on the map, but or it doesn't tell me where I am necessarily, but I know that's the landmark I'm standing next to, so I want to head west, then the route's going to curve south, then I kind of want to go... I may stray off of the trail a little bit here or there, depending on if I think there's anything interesting around. Is this the way I want to go? I think this is the way I want to go. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you're not paying super close attention, there are places where the trail splits, and if you're not 100% sure where you're at on the trail, it can cause some problems in terms of figuring out where you are, which is why you need the landmarks to help you out in that endeavor. So I think that's the same landmark from before. So if I can... See, this is a problem. Now there's trees blocking my line of sight to the other landmarks that I do know about. Okay, there was one. And... See, now I'm already lost. This is horrible. Well, you win again, landmark. I will worry about that in a little while. So I would like to get that landmark on my map, so I have another point of reference for, figuring out where I am. But because in some places, just the terrain gets in your way, or you're in these forests and the trees are blocking your line of sight, it can be very difficult to, have those landmarks visible. And now I'm dying, so I need to do something about this real quick. I've probably got fever again, and just dehydration. Alright. So, again, I think this is the trail I'm supposed to be following, but I'm not 100% sure. Going northwest, which is roughly the correct direction, but I think I'm following these bridges. See, now this is what I'm talking about. So there's part of the trail that goes left, and part of the trail that goes right. So if I'm heading northwest, I must be on this stretch. And I just crossed that bridge. So that bridge is probably this little bit of water here going through the forest. So I think I want to follow the trail up along the water, because of the way it sort of curves here. So the path to the left may lead in the same direction, but I think the path to the right is the one. And I could use landmarks to verify this, but there aren't any landmarks that I know nearby, which is the problem, and sort of what makes this game interesting, of trying to figure your way around. So let's just keep on jogging and see where we end up. And I hope it's the right place. But it might not be. So I think the water that we were looking at before is on my right. But then here's another lake. There's land on the other side. So So I don't know where I am. But I'm gonna... Okay, that was the way we came from. That just leads down to the water. So I think I want to keep going this way. And there's a hut. And then the water's over here. There's a big statue over here. So the statue is probably this. So we're probably standing right here. Yeah, and there's the hut on the other side of us. So what we could do is go ahead and mark this. And then the map automatically knows what you're looking at. So that's where we are on the map. Which is where we want to be. So I think the next map piece is going to be over here. In this tent. And what time is it now? It's 4 o'clock. Sun's gonna set soon, plus it's super cloudy. So I don't want to be out after dark, because then you're guaranteed to get lost pretty much. Let's see what we got here. A letter from Sanchez about the antitoxin. I think we're making good progress in the synthesis of Agent Y. Herbert has discovered a bioluminescent algae. The algae has acted as a stabilizing base for the orchidea extract that Cornelius was able to acquire. So, I guess that's the stuff I need for one of the components of the cure. So I have to go find this bioluminescent algae near, what do they call that? Outlook Vega? Outbase Vega? Outpost Vega. So I'm like here or am I all the way over here? There's the statue. So I'm all the way over here. So I guess that's added to my map now. Yep. So I need to get all the way out there.
Tune in next up to Disscomfort's channel. We might finish building that one thing in Minecraft, but probably not. We might play Oblivion instead, or some audio serve, or something new. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Rate, comment, and subscribe.